Well, as promised, guys, I mentioned I would be doing Random Wrestling Talk episode number 4 this weekend, and I am going to do that right here and now. Ladies and gentlemen, the major topic of conversation, I'm going to actually do 2 topics, actually maybe 3, if I find it even worth doing at this point when I get through the other 2 topics I find more important to talk about. Today, there's not going to be any talk about AEW. This is strictly WWE information, things that I feel is something I would really like to talk about with you guys on this video. So let's go right into it. Let's get into the topic of conversation with Kofi Kingston and good old Daniel Bryan for the WWE Championship. It's already been announced this past Tuesday that Kofi Kingston will be facing Daniel Bryan for that WWE Championship. Now, from what I mentioned earlier this week, I did mention that I think that this is a test run for Kofi Kingston to see how he does in a main event spot opportunity, just one-on-one between him and one of the best WWE performers today. I think if he gets a huge pop like he did against Daniel Bryan in the Elimination Chamber matchup itself, I think he deserves an opportunity to face Daniel Bryan again for the WWE title at WrestleMania. The reason why I feel this way is because Kofi Kingston has been around for a very long time. It's time for him to be taken seriously. The guy's got raw talent. It's very entertaining. The only thing I have against Kofi Kingston is this act that he does with the New Day. I think the New Day need to drop this flinging pancakes deal. I think it's absolutely ridiculous for them. They look like circus clowns. They are better than that. They are great, talented wrestlers. They have very unique talent. I think Xavier Woods would be a great U.S. or Intercontinental Champion if he was on his own. I think Big E would be a world champion someday on his own. And Kofi Kingston, the way he has performed with Daniel Bryan, I think was amazing. The guy has done unbelievable stunts at the Royal Rumble. He's been great. And I think he deserves an opportunity to become the WWE Champion. Now, the other flip of the coin is Kevin Owens. Kevin Owens is actually a talent that has been given a raw deal. I really don't feel that he's been given the right opportunity. His run as the Universal Champion was a long, successful one until Brock Lesnar. But it wasn't a successful one, but it was a long Universal Championship run that really didn't mean a thing. Because at the end of it, he lost the title to Goldberg in less than a minute. So, that's bad in itself. So I really feel that Kevin Owens, and not to mention Kevin Owens as the Universal Champion, had Chris Jericho by his side, which also made things even worse for him. He was a pathetic champion. He would not go ahead whatsoever and defend it cleanly as a heel or whatever. So, bottom line is, Kevin Owens, I feel, deserves a shot for that WWE Championship as well. I think also Kevin Owens needs to do a face run. I think he needs to become the face of the people, the new people's champ. I feel he needs to take on the role that Daniel Bryan decided to let go of. I think Kevin Owens will do an outstanding job as that kind of role, and I think he is portraying it on television right now leading up to his return to the ring. He's really not acting very heelish-like in his promos, hinting us that he's coming back to the WWE. Seems a little bit more humble, a little bit more family-orientated type of guy. The way he's portraying his character in these webcam type videos that he does. So he's not really coming off as a heel so much. So in all honesty, I feel that Kevin Owens needs to have a face run. And against Daniel Bryan would be the perfect person to do that against. Not to mention, Daniel Bryan beat him and Sami Zayn and got them fired off of SmackDown. So that's another reason for Kevin Owens to feel the need to want to go after him anyway. And on top of it, knowing full well what Daniel Bryan has become, I mean, that'd be a great deal for them to do. It also blends into what Daniel Bryan talks about now as a heel. He talks about people being overweight, not taking care of themselves. Kevin Owens has been looking at that adversity a lot since he's come to WWE. A lot of creative and upper level management have dissed Kevin Owens because of his weight. And because of that, I think that's also held him back as a guy being promoted in the main event scene. Despite the fact he was pushed very well against John Cena when he initially came onto the scene, but then after that, he just became a nobody. Winning meaningless belts that brought no prestige to the table, what he did as the champion, making him look like a pathetic champion altogether. I didn't really like him as Intercontinental Champion. His championship runs as Intercontinental Champion was absolute garbage. I think maybe, just maybe, his first title run was meaningful a little bit as IC Champion, but that's about it. His United States Championship run was pathetic. The only thing that made his purpose of winning the United States Championship was beating Chris Jericho. That's about it. Really all I have to say on that. So that's all that needs to be said right now on this subject. So I personally feel that either one of those choices, Kofi Kingston or Kevin Owens, would be the best pick for Daniel Bryan at WrestleMania. That's the way I feel on it. Randy Orton, on the other hand, I've actually been watching him on SmackDown and trying to see where he would fit on the WrestleMania card. And this is going a little, adding on another topic that I wasn't going to even talk about, but since I brought it up, I might as well say it. I don't know where Randy Orton would fit on the WrestleMania card. I don't know if, maybe they should bring back the Money in the Bank ladder match and have a 6-way ladder match between Raw and SmackDown and do something like that maybe and get rid of the Money in the Bank ladder match event all in itself. But in all honesty, guys, I really don't know where Randy Orton would fit in the WrestleMania main card for this event. I would hate to think that Randy Orton would not be in the WrestleMania event scene. Not to mention Samoa Joe's another one. I don't know where he would fit. I really don't. AJ Styles and fucking Jeff Hardy. All four of those guys that were in that 6-man tag team match this past Tuesday, I don't know where they would fit for WrestleMania. I don't know what kind of plans they have in mind or what they're going to do. So that kind of sucks in itself because they're all big names and they're all good, talented wrestlers. So that's all I have to say on that subject. Alright, now let's get into the other topic of things. I did mention this a little bit on the NXT review from February 20th review, and I have to say this. What Vince McMahon is doing with the NXT talent, I find to be outrageously retarded. Now, SmackDown did give them a positive reaction. A lot better than Raw. Let me put it to you that way. And Lafayette, you're very disappointing. Because these guys deserved a better crowd reaction than what you guys gave them. I'm just putting it that way. So, yeah. Raw was horrible to them that night. Tuesday night, SmackDown gave the NXT stars a lot better reaction. And they also gave them promo videos to hype them up a little bit before they throw them out on stage and have them perform in the middle of the ring. Which I think is a very smart move on their part. So, why didn't they think about this before? Fucking retarded bullshit. Ricochet had a positive reaction. Aleister Black had a really good match with Andre Cianamis, which I'm going to call him that. I don't care that they got rid of his last name at all, so fuck them and their bullshit that they can't deal with saying a first and last name. That's what everyone's born with, a first and a last name, so get the fuck out of here. Bottom line, Aleister Black had a great match with Andre Cianamis. Ricochet had a good match with Eric Young, despite the fact Eric Young and Sanity are not used hardly at all on SmackDown whatsoever, except to job out to other people, which I think is an absolute joke. Let me see here. And Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano having a match with Sheamus and Cesaro. Man, did they have a fucking better match with them than they did with the Revival. I don't know who fucking produced that matchup or what they were doing. Maybe they just didn't know what to do in that match and it was just last minute, throw it all together, let's go. Because that's how Raw works nowadays. I don't know what the fucking deal is on that. But, whatever. But, their match with Sheamus and Cesaro was totally different. A lot of crowd reaction, people very entertained. What Vince McMahon is trying to do is convince Triple H that these guys are not WWE main event material, that they're not going to elevate the company into the next generation, into the future. And I don't see that. I really don't. I do find it very offensive, though, that they would take these like Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano, who are producing a great story together, thanks to the NXT storyline writers and their work in the ring as well, and totally just dismissing it as if it isn't going on. Now, granted, when these two guys officially are on the main roster, I would do what Vince McMahon is doing. I make them tag team partners. They really need tag team workers anyway. Their tag team division is flat. It's dead. There's nothing going on with that tag team division. So, with them being together on the main roster, I understand that. I do agree with Vince McMahon's decision on doing that. They need that. And not to mention, it will give those two guys some kind of creative direction for the storyline writers, because I think as individuals coming into such a large roster like they are coming into, because NXT is more a condensed roster. Raw and SmackDown is a very wide variety of a roster range. I think that's another reason why these guys are just walking away and feel totally disrespected. They have too much on their plate. They really do. WWE has way too much on their plate concerning themselves with other independent wrestling companies becoming competitive with them. I think that is the dumbest thing you can possibly do. Hold talent hostage so that you can be the ulterior company in professional wrestling when you don't even like using the word wrestling as your main term about your company. You're not a wrestling company. You're entertainment. Well, what I watch is I'm watching wrestling with entertainment value added on to it. That's what I watch that stuff on television for. To watch professional wrestling. The entertainment comes with the wrestling because that is what I'm tuning in for. Wrestling. Makes perfect sense to me. I think I've mentioned this on plenty of other videos you would have seen in the past of me talking about how WWE doesn't look at itself as a wrestling company, looked at themselves as an entertainment company. Well, let me put it to you this way. Like I just mentioned, if you are giving me wrestling, that is what you are. A wrestling company. Providing entertainment through wrestling. Gee, it's rocket science, let me tell you. Jesus Christ almighty. But Vince McMahon's ploy to convince Triple H that the new style of wrestling is not worth using, well, what the fuck are you talking about, man? You got a guy like Ricochet who can do all kinds of stunts. If you got a guy like Triple H or a guy like The Rock, and they're great wrestlers, don't get me wrong. I love them. They're entertaining. They're valuable through what they say and do. But as in-ring performers, they don't give you that same kind of quality that a Johnny Gargano, a Tommaso Ciampa, a Ricochet, Daniel Bryan, Chris Benoit and Kurt Angle can provide. Now, I know I mentioned Chris Benoit, and he's not even alive anymore, but he was a great wrestler. Chris Benoit, in today's day and age, would have been marked in the main event scene. He would have been marked at the top. He did everything in professional wrestling that they do today. He's a technical wrestler. He fucking goes ahead and does high-flying stunts. He did all those kinds of things back when he was alive. Now, granted, a lot of people would not like for me to say all these things complimenting Chris Benoit because of what he did with his family. Don't get me wrong. What he did with his family was absolutely the wrong thing to do. That is the one thing I hate about his fucking career, because overall, as a wrestler, he was great. At ending his life the way he did, really shitty. But you have to look beyond what was on the surface. You have to look deeper into Chris Benoit as a person, because in all reality, if you think about it, he's suffered a lot of concussions. And that is something that can fuck you up. If you look at Junior Seau, I really believe that guy, who was a football player in the NFL, sustained a lot of concussions in his career as well, and he ended up blowing himself in the fucking face. Or actually shooting himself in the chest, so he can preserve his brain to be researched and find out what was wrong with it. So if he would have had somebody around him, close to him, he probably would have done something very similar to what Chris Benoit did. Just saying. So I don't think it was Chris Benoit, the person, who did it. I think it was Chris Benoit, his brain, that got fucked up, who did that. Not him, per se, who chose to do it on his own choosing to want to just do it. It wasn't by choice. It was by his brain was fucked up. So that's about all I have to say on that subject. But let's go into so basically, going back to what I was talking about with the NXT guys, Vince McMahon is really sabotaging a lot of these talented wrestlers. The new NXT guys that he brought up before these four guys appeared on Raw and SmackDown this past week, they didn't do a fucking thing so far. Dean Ambrose facing EC3 and some meaningless back and forth bullshit for a couple of weeks, and now he wasn't even shown on Raw this past week. I don't know what the fuck that was about. Dean Ambrose jobbing out. I don't know what's going on with Dean Ambrose either. He's jobbing out all over the fucking place, so it is guaranteed he's leaving a fucking company. I'm pretty certain of it. But whatever. They made him look like a sideshow clown at the after his match. He said to Seth Rollins, "Where were you? Have you lost your fucking mind? You're the one who left him in the Shield and didn't want to be there anymore. You made that decision to go out on your own. You don't need the Shield." Making him look like a fucking buffoon. So, that's all I really have to say. I don't know really what more to say on that subject. But what Vince McMahon is doing is clearly just sabotaging his talent. But I was happy to see that SmackDown gave these 4 guys a better reaction than what Raw gave them, because what Raw gave them was just a fucking joke. Alright, so let's go right into the main topic. Something dealing with creative with WWE. I just read that PW Insider actually is reporting that Bruce Pritchard, who was a behind-the-scenes guy in WWE Creative at the time, is now coming back to the main scene. He's the main guy that's working side by side with Vince McMahon with WWE Creative, especially for Monday Night Raw. What a fucking blessing in disguise. Possibly. Not 100%. I'm saying that that's a blessing in disguise. But let's give Raw an opportunity to see how they turn out with Bruce Pritchard behind the scenes with creative. Because, quite frankly, he worked with them for 20 plus years. Left in 2008 and is now going to be returning this coming Monday Night Raw to do the entire Monday Night Raw script. I hope that with him being added, there's going to be some kind of slight change, at least, for us to see within the Monday Night creative juices of this fucking show. Because with a guy with an old school mentality who's more prone to wrestling than is actually just giving you fucking pathetic bullshit storylines that really don't go anywhere, maybe Bruce Pritchard can give us something worth watching. He was doing what he did in WWE's creative team for 20 plus years. So if he could give us something similar to what we used to watch when we enjoyed watching the shit, then by God, we got some kind of hope at the end of the tunnel for us with Monday Night Raw. At least then we might get something that we can say, hey, this 3 hours wasn't a total waste of my time. At least maybe we can say maybe half the show was worth your fucking time. And the other half was, whatever. Take it or leave it kind of attitude. But at least something that can give us, maybe 2 hours worth of entertainment. Maybe the couple and 1 hour was shit. Something of that kind of nature. Maybe make the first hour be a bunch of bullshit and not give it flying fuck. Have a little bit of storyline here, trying to tell a story leading into the end of the show. Maybe you make a big announcement in the beginning of the show for the hour and tell us what exactly we're to expect for the main event, and then have like a nice little minor matchup with guys that you haven't used for a long time, and give them some airtime and let them perform in front of the audience for the first hour. And then when you get to the 9 o'clock hour, that's when things get to the way they used to be. Monday Night Raw. Not this 3 hour Monday Night Raw that makes you want to go to fucking sleep type shit. I mean, give us something worth watching. And give us have like, if I was them, here's what I'd do. I'd have one segment of a promo, and then have like 2 or 3 matches back to back. I wouldn't have no fucking match them promo. Yeah, that's what their format is on this fucking show now for Raw and SmackDown. I've seen SmackDown do the exact same thing. They've gone ahead, they'll have a fucking promo, then they'll have a match, and then a promo, and then a match, and blah, blah, blah. You get what I'm saying. They need to have a series of matches back to back, maybe 2 or 3 matches back to back, then give us a promo to give us a break from watching wrestling and be able to see some kind of dialogue develop between characters and whatnot that'll initiate something to make them want to compete against each other and have them fight over something. Have them fight over a title. Have them fight over the right to earn respect. Have them have the right to be a number 1 contender, to climb the ranks of the of a WWE Championship belt division. Something. But not meaningless crap that goes nowhere. That's all I have to say on that subject. I know this has been a short episode. Usually I go about 40, 50 minutes. But that's really how I feel. It's short, sweet, to the point. I don't really have a lot to talk about in this episode. I did say a lot of stuff for the NXT sabotage thing that was going on. But when I got to watch SmackDown later on this weekend, between all the shit I had to do, that's the reason why this video is uploaded late than I stated. I think I stated to you guys I'd do it Friday or Saturday night or something like that. And I didn't really get to it until just now on Sunday, which being the last day of the weekend. So I do apologize about that, but I had a ton of shit to fucking do between 6 hours of work, cleaning my house, cleaning my car, all kinds of shit. I just really needed the time to do all those things. But this is really the whole episode here. I think Bruce Pritchard will be somewhat of a change of fresh air for Monday Night Raw. If not, then we have no fucking hope. Because at the end of the day, it's going to be Vince McMahon putting his fucking company through the ground. And that's what I feel he's doing. I don't think he has any care in the world for this company. That's why I feel personally, when the XFL starts up next year, get lost. Go somewhere else. Do something different. Work in the XFL and take care of that. Not worrying about fucking WWE. You don't have your heart in it anymore. Someone I could mention very similar as CM Punk. Anyway, guys, hit the like button if you like this video. Hit the subscribe button if you're not already subscribed to this channel. And leave a comment down below, and I'll definitely get back to you guys on that. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and I hope you guys had a wonderful weekend. Speak to you guys later, and stay safe.